It's a bag that I have been seeing around for some reason, and I'm not sure if it's a good sign, it's a sign that I need to pick it up myself, or it's a sign that it just simply hasn't been popular and no one wants it, and that's why it's always there. Hi guys, my name is G.P.S. and welcome back to my channel. If you've been with me for a while, you might have noticed that I'm quite a decisive shopper. I know what I like, and more importantly, I know exactly what I don't. But there are still times when I struggle to make up my mind. So in today's video, I thought it would be fun to share with you a few pieces that I have been thinking about and considering on and off for the past couple of months. And I feel I would have purchased some of these, if not most of them, if the circumstances of 2020 were different. But I didn't feel that I would have been able to get my money's worth out of them, considering that most of us are not even leaving our apartments nowadays. But I still thought it would be fun to talk about them and maybe get your feedback. So if you want to have a look at a couple of recent luxury launches that I have been eyeing, then please keep on watching. The first product that has been on my mind is from a brand that I haven't really been talking about that much, and that's purely because of the fact that I find their pricing to be out of control at this point. I cannot justify buying things from them for the quality, and this brand is Chanel. Now, it's important to note that I have been after a really simple, sort of traditional plain black tweed jacket from the brand. And I think I asked my Chanel SA in New York about 5 years ago to keep an eye out for a plain black jacket for me, but she's yet to find something for me that I would like. There has always been something similar, but either the silhouettes were too cropped or they featured some sort of elaborate decoration. Either the buttons were a little bit too out there for me, or there was some sort of metallic feature to the jackets. There was always something that put me off of them, but I had really high hopes for the pre-fall 2020 runway show because I had heard that it's going to be a monochromatic collection, and indeed there were two pieces that I was quite interested in. So there was one jacket that actually kind of blew up on social media, so many people started talking about it, and I do think it ended up being a hard to get piece, which was this really simple traditional jacket that featured this sort of split design. One half of the jacket was white or like an ivory color, and then the other one was black. And when that jacket actually hit the stores, my SA asked me if I would be interested, but she warned me that I probably would not be able to pull it off because it was an extremely tailored silhouette. And while Chanel has a really good tailoring service, you can pretty much get anything tailored whenever you want to as long as it's a Chanel piece. That jacket was so incredibly tapered that I don't think I would have been able to pull it off. And if I asked them to tailor it for me, they pretty much would have had to change the entire silhouette. So I don't think that was a jacket that I would have been able to pull off. But thankfully there was another jacket in the same collection, which was sort of what I was looking for. It definitely came close, which was a really similar color palette as you would expect, but it was quite a different tailoring and different shape. And it was this jacket, which I'll put a picture of up here. I did get a chance to try it on in store. Bear in mind that it was the wrong size, but my SA still wanted me to have a look at it and try it on to see if I like the design, so they could order a larger size for me. So I'll put that picture up here. So it was a similar design and a similar concept, but instead of the split effect, it just featured one stripe of that ivory tweed in the middle, which I didn't love, but it has definitely come closest to the plain black jacket that I'm looking for. But at the end of the day, there were two reasons why I didn't pick it up. Number one is obviously most of us have not been leaving our apartments, and while I don't need a formal occasion to wear a jacket like that, it's not like I need to be invited to the Met Gala to wear that. I would honestly wear it to the grocery store. I just didn't feel that it's something that my collection absolutely needs. And then number two is I find Chanel's pricing to be absolutely out of control. I mean, that jacket I remember in the US was about $7,000, $7,000 and something. So I was hoping that maybe if I pick it up in Europe, I would be able to save a little bit of money. But actually looking at the price in Europe, I would have saved money by buying it in the US because of the conversion rate. And for that much money, I think it was over 7,000 euros. I just simply couldn't justify buying it. I mean, it's a Chanel jacket. Yes, true, it's a classic, and you'll have it in your collection forever. You can always get it tailored and tweaked. But at the same time, I just simply couldn't do it. And I know with Chanel jackets, as I mentioned, I have been looking for a plain black one. You never know what comes out, and if you see something, when it's going to come back around again. I don't know. It's not something that I was in love with. And for 8,000 euros, you definitely have to love something. The second piece, quite similar to the Chanel jacket, is something that I picked out on the runway. And I immediately let my essay know that it's something that I would be interested in. But it is from Hermes. And I saw this incredible, at the time I didn't know, but now I do know that it's this reversible sort of shearling-like jacket. I actually don't think it's shearling. I think it's lamb. But it's this really cool sort of color-blocked jacket that is reversible. You can either wear the fur on the outside or you can reverse it and then have the leather part on the outside. So I quite like that you can make it look a little bit more casual and almost like a teddy bear look with the fur on the outside. Or you can reverse it and make it a little bit more streamlined and modern by turning it into a plain leather jacket. But when the time came and it became available in store, I just simply didn't know if it's something that I need in my life right now. Obviously, as you can imagine, it's Hermes and it's leather, so it's going to be quite expensive. And again, it's the same thing. It's a timeless piece. It's a classic. It's something that I have in my collection forever. But is it something that I want to invest in right now when, again, I'm not going anywhere? It's not like I'm going to be wearing the jacket for at least a year, I guess. And then there was also a sweatshirt version of the jacket, which had the exact same color blocking idea. But instead of the gray tones, it featured more like a neutral sort of camel color palette, which I actually preferred. But it didn't have a zipper that went all the way down to the bottom of the jacket. Instead, the zipper was much shorter and it kind of stopped just underneath the collar, which I think makes the piece a little bit less multifaceted. There's definitely much less you can do with it, but at the same time, I love the look and I love the color palette that it was in. And I think the difference in terms of price was only like a couple $100. It really wasn't much. I don't know which one I would go for. If I wanted to be really rational and if I wanted to get a functional piece, I would go for the jacket. But if I went after my heart, I would get the sweatshirt version. So I don't know. It's still something that I'm thinking about, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, let's move on to a few bags that I had my eye on. And the first one is actually something that I mentioned in my 2020 wishlist video, which is the Louis Vuitton Nice Nano bag, I believe it's called, which is Louis Vuitton's most recent take on the vanity case trend. And I specifically wanted to invest in this piece for traveling. Now, obviously 2020 hasn't been the year for traveling, which is perfectly fine. I'm not complaining about that. But it's a piece that was unavailable for the longest time. It was constantly sold out. And then when the person that I work with at Louis Vuitton texted me to let me know that it's now available, I was like, do I really need this piece in my life right now? And I came to the conclusion that I don't. And I understand that things will change and hopefully we'll be able to start traveling again sooner rather than later. But it's just still not something that I think I need in my life, and I'm glad that I kind of forgot about it. You guys know that I'm all about multifaceted pieces. I love things that you can make work as a pouch bag, as a catch-all, or as a bag on its own. But the whole vanity case trend is just not something that I can completely get on board with. While I do think there are people out there who can pull it off, more often than not, when I see someone carrying a vanity case as a bag, it just looks like they're carrying a vanity case as a bag. They're not pulling it off as a bag by itself. So I felt that it's really not something that I would invest in as a bag, or it's something that I would carry out as a bag on its own. Maybe if I got the larger Nice, I would have worn it by itself as a travel bag specifically for traveling. Maybe the largest one, perhaps I could have fit a mini Cali inside and all my travel documents that I needed. But for the nano version, it's not something that, one, I would wear by itself. Number two, do I really need a vanity case for almost $800? Definitely not right now. So the Louis Vuitton Nice Nano is off my wish list for 2020. And then there are two more bags that are sort of on my radar. Both of them are from Hermes, but the first one is something that I have no doubt I'm going to add to my collection at one point. I just don't know when, which is the Hermes Grooming Bag. In case you've never seen this bag, this is sort of Hermes' take on the Louis Vuitton Everything Fits? Fit Everything? What is it called? Neverfull, the Louis Vuitton Neverfull, which is this really open and simple tote bag, which is actually part of the Hermes equestrian line. This was specifically designed for horse riding, and it was designed so equestrian and horse riders can fit everything into one bag, everything you need, your riding boots, your brushes, your perhaps maybe even your saddle, and just things you need in the stable. And this is a really functional bag. First of all, it's made of a waterproof, heavy-duty canvas, which is really easy to clean. It has a removable shoulder strap. It's essentially just like a bucket that fits everything you need. It has this orange lining, which is actually removable, so if it gets dirty, you can easily just put it in the washing machine and clean it. It has several pockets on the inside that you can use to store different things. So this is just really a practical bag, there is no doubt about that. And I feel like you would really enjoy this if you are perhaps a new mom or a new dad and you need a diaper bag, or if you need a bag to take to the gym and you want something that is really easy to clean and keep tidy, or if you're someone who goes to work early in the morning and you need things with you throughout the day. It's definitely something that would fit, I think, all your essentials. But at the moment, I'm not really going anywhere for a period long enough that I would need to carry such a big bag with me. Although now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's something that I could take to the grocery store with me and I could use that sort of as my grocery bag, just put everything in one bag. So I'm kind of convincing myself that I do need it in my life sooner rather than later. But anyway, it's a bag that I've been a huge fan of ever since it launched. It has actually recently come out in a felt version, in a gray felt version, which has a green lining. And because the original one is blue on the outside, I don't think I mentioned this. It's navy blue on the outside, and then the interior is orange. And then on this new version, it's made of felt, gray felt on the outside. And then the inside is sort of like a khaki, dark forest green color, maybe like a word cypress from Hermes. But the only concern that I have with the gray one is that I love the fact that the original one is waterproof, whereas felt doesn't really react well to water, so I don't think it would be as functional and as user-friendly as the original version. So if I was to pick it up right now, I would go for the blue one, the original one. But yeah, I was thinking about picking it up this year, but I don't know if I will, just because I'm not going anywhere where I would need a bag this big. But yeah, maybe for grocery shopping. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And then the last piece, again, is from Hermes. And it's actually a bag that has been offered to me a couple of times. I know that I have talked about it in previous videos. And it's a bag that I have been seeing around for some reason. And I'm not sure if it's a good sign. It's a sign that I need to pick it up myself. Or it's a sign that it just simply hasn't been popular and no one wants it. And that's why it's always there. But I have been thinking about the Kelly Depeches. Now the Kelly Depeches is a bag that relaunched in the men's collection a couple of years ago. It's available in a briefcase as well as in a clutch bag version. And while I like the briefcase, I'm not someone who would carry a briefcase with me. So I'm talking about the Kelly Depeches 25, which is the clutch bag version. And it's sort of a more stripped down and simplistic and maybe even streamlined take on the Kelly Pochette. Now, you might know that I have been hunting for a Kelly Pochette for a couple of years. And I'm not actually sure if I like the Kelly Depeche because of the way it looks, or if I like it because this is as far as I've come to picking up a Kelly Pochette from the boutique in regular leather. I'm not sure, but I have been thinking about it and I feel like it's starting to grow on me. Every single time I see it, I like it just a little bit more, and I have come really close to buying it. Or I'm not sure if, as I mentioned, I just like it because I don't have anything similar but better to buy. I would definitely play around with it because the way they suggest that you carry it is obviously either as a handheld bag, or it does come with this short and sad little strap on the side which you can put around your wrist, which is just such a grandpa way of carrying a bag. I don't know anyone who would do that with an Hermes bag. So I would definitely have to play around with it and see if I could add a shoulder strap to it. I'm sure I could come up with something. But it's a bag that's been on my mind, and I'm not sure if I need therapy and I need to be talked out of it, or I just need to pull the trigger and pick it up because it's something that is really a piece that I would be able to take advantage of. I like the overall look of the bag. I like how simple and stripped down it is. I like that it doesn't have a handle on top. It's just really, really simple. But at the same time, I'm not the biggest fan of the proportions. I find it to be quite tall, but quite thin for my liking. I don't really like really traditional clutch bags either, because I find that I have a really hard time packing them with everything that I need. And I think the Kelly Depeches is a little bit thicker than, for example, the Hermes Jacket, but at the same time, it's still just such a narrow bag that I feel like I would struggle with it. I'm torn about this bag. It's really a piece that I like and I want to like, and it looks good on other people, but at the same time, I know that I would still prefer Kelly Depeches. So maybe it's not something that I need to add to my collection, or maybe you'll see me here with an unboxing of the Kelly Depeches in the near future. I don't know. Right now that I'm talking about it and I'm explaining to you guys the reasons why I don't like it, I'm sort of convincing myself that I don't need it, but I cannot make any promises. And this is it, guys. This completes today's video on pieces that I'm thinking about picking up and I'm not sure whether I'm going to or not. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Please let me know if there are any pieces that you were supposed to pick up in 2020. Not that you were supposed to, but you were thinking about picking up this year, but kind of everything going on has put you off of it. I would love to hear from you, and please let me know what you think about the pieces that I mentioned. And if you enjoyed this video, then please make sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.